Hey everyone. So welcome back to Melody and Music Introduces Series 2, Episode 3. This one is with the amazing Serendipity.
Hello, thank you for having me.
So today we're gonna listen and find out about Jess as a musician, as a brand, and as an artist. Um, so Jess,
Yes.
um, what is so a few basic questions just for everyone to get to know you. What is your favorite song that you've written so far?
Oh, that's a hard question. Oh, probably one that I've written by myself, probably a song called "A Jar," which actually is the next one that's coming out, which is very exciting. I really like that one. But if it can include co-writes, probably this song called "Where the Wild Things Go" or "Wild Things." Or some variation of wild things and going. Changes every time I introduce it. But it was a co-write, and I really like that song. It's all sort of about like the places you go in your mind in mental health and through fairy tales and stuff like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
it's a
And
fun one.
what's your favorite song to perform?
Probably Where the Wild Things Go. um, Me and my band, I really like the arrangement of it, and it's very sort of I play with a cello and a guitarist and a choir, and it's very like we've got this sort of call and response situation going with it, and it's like with the depth of the cello and the guitar. I don't know, it just becomes really ethereal. I love it. It's really fun to sing too.
And I may be mishearing the name of the song, but isn't there like a children's book or something that is like Where the Wild Things Go or like
It's Where the Wild Things Are, I think.
yes.
Where the wild Yes. Where the Wild Things Are.
That's just popped
Yeah,
into my
something
head
like that.
because I remember
But
that
yeah,
song as
it's
a
kind
kid.
of it's also kind of inspired by that. So it was a co-write at Gympie Music, Gympie Songmaster, which is a country music writing camp, and I'm not specifically a country artist, but it was a great place to write. And it was sort of inspired by that, and inspired by Alice in Wonderland, and that film, like just like Where the Wild Things
Mhm.
Are, like. You know how there's some movies that just like make you cry? It
Yeah.
like stabbed me in the heart and soul, and I remember sobbing for like half an hour afterwards, and I couldn't
Mhm.
quite figure out why. So I feel like that energy is kind of in this song. It's got that kind of like mysterious poignancy, and you're not quite sure what it's about, but it feels important, kind of thing.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so yeah, it's always nice picking things out from different a aspects and building into something
Yeah,
new.
yeah.
So speaking of the country music workshop that you went to, is there anything that you learned that you made that you're slowly integrating into your music?
Oh, I feel like the main thing I love about those workshops is the friends that you make and like the connections, the people that I don't know, like getting in a writing session with someone's like such an immediate way to get close with someone. You're like, anyway,
Yeah.
here's my feelings. What about you? um, or at least that's sort of the way I tend to write is very much feelings. So
Yeah.
most of the sessions in some way or other went that direction. So it's like, yeah, the people, it was like a good 2 or 3 years ago, and I'm still friends with like most of them now. And, I do also sometimes some media stuff myself. Um, and I had an interview with them at Woodford like a month with some of the people from it like a month ago, and it was just like, it's so great to see you again. So those connections and the community are really magic, and learning to kind of, yeah, bounce off other people's ideas and presence in the room and sort of what you can create when you're all in that zone together.
Nice. Yeah, because it's always
Yeah.
nice bouncing ideas because all of you have different strengths and weaknesses, and you can kind of learn from other people who may do something that you want to be able to do.
And different outlooks and kind of like even just like different lenses that we view the world
Yeah.
from. So it's like and different songwriting style. Even sometimes like some of the process. Like I have a pretty uh samey process that if I'm writing by myself I tend to follow. But if
Mm.
I'm with a group, maybe we'll get the words first, or
Yeah.
even just things like writing on a laptop instead of on paper, like just all those kind of different things. It's really interesting, sort of getting the insight into the other ways people create.
Yeah. So so I can see that you're in a studio. You
Yes.
mentioned that you're not in your usual location. You're
No.
back at home at the moment, and
Yes.
that's your dad's studio.
Yes, he
And
is. Shout out Nile Records.
so, who inspired you to make music? Was your dad a big part of it, or someone else, or
Yeah, it was definitely Dad was probably the OG. Um, he's a choir conductor and runs community music nights. So like I think Dad in conjunction with community inspired me. So like
yeah,
the fact that Dad ran these choirs and I like grew up going to choirs, but then he's also a music teacher, and so I was singing and writing like as soon as I could. It was just sort of like you speak and then you sing. It was like it was just sort of part of growing up with that. Um, but then yeah, sort of growing up, going to these music nights and these places and seeing how connected people would be when they'd sing together, I found that incredibly inspiring. And I was like, I want to make people feel this connected. Um, yeah, and that became a bit of like a why, I think. So Dad in conjunction with the communities, which Dad also kind of created, so or fostered. Yeah.
So speaking of communities, and especially the music community, so the music community in London, I know for a fact, is actually a very, especially amongst independent artists, is very small.
Mm, yes.
Brisbane is even smaller.
Oh my God, Brisbane's tiny. I love it though.
And in this one podcast, and this one
Mhm.
series, I've already interviewed Georgia, who's a friend of yours,
Yes, my friend.
Dublin,
I love Georgia. Oh, I love W. She's a really good friend too.
and the other interviews that I'm filming for series two, Faith K. Ruse and Madison Kate.
Love.
So,
Dude, Maddie's literally one of my closest friends. She's in my band. I love that.
so what
Say hi to Maddie from me, please.
I will do, I will do. So what makes you feel that Brisbane is such an easy community to go around and meet these people and say hello and just be friends with everyone?
It's so nice. I think as well the fact that I'm in the folky corner of the music scene. It's a very wholesome corner of the music scene.
Yeah.
Um, but well, because I grew up in a pretty sort of like small town in northern New South Wales and pretty
Mm.
countryish, like regional and such. So I'm always used to that small town community thing. And I
Yeah.
moved up to Brisbane thinking like, oh, massive city vibes. And then like within a year, I was like, oh wait, I know most people in the music scene. Or not everyone in the music scene, but
Yeah.
like it's pretty. It's really nice how I think how supportive everyone is, and I'm such a big fan of the Meanjin Brisbane music scene. It's just yeah, everyone really uplifts each other, and
Yeah.
you go to community events, and it just feels like you're all a bunch of friends. It's really nice, but it's like also the scene. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah.
It's a
I
it's a
think I
it's a
think it's nice
good
having that
place.
support group, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, especially yeah, as I was saying in that sort of pop folk world, there's like so many artists who inspire me so much, who are my friends and who I love their music, and it's just like awesome to see. Yeah, people that you care about doing things that they care about, It's
Yeah,
really
because
nice.
it's very funny because my cousin took me to one of Dublin's events when I was in Brisbane in
Yeah.
July,
Yeah,
last
yeah.
summer or your winter, and
Mhm.
then all of a sudden I was on Instagram and then found Georgia, and then
Mhm.
found your
Mhm.
song Distance that we'll listen to later.
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
it was like a complete ongoing thing of just finding all these different people from Australia, from specifically Brisbane. And it was great.
Yeah, yeah. All from the same little corner.
Yeah.
But it's also really nice how it's all like we all similar, but like everyone's doing their own unique thing that sort of feels right to them. Like it's really
Yeah.
nice how it's like it's similar, but it's
Yeah.
there's room for all of us always.
Yeah.
I love it.
So coming back to
It's really
you,
cool. Oh yes.
um, to promote you,
Oh yeah,
so
yeah. Sorry, went on a tangent there.
if you wanted to re-record any song as a cover, what would you release?
Oh, like any song in the world, I cover.
Yeah.
Iris. I love Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls.
Yes.
It's one that we put in like almost every set, and we do a cover of it in the same
Mhm.
tuning as like all of my other, whoa, I just made my chair go down by accident. Sorry. Um, anyway, um, we do a cover of Iris in the set, and it's in the same tuning as like I write a lot in alternate tuning, so we do a cover of it in the same tuning as the songs that use that same tuning. And sometimes we hide it in the set, so I won't announce it, and then suddenly we'll be like, and I don't want. And I think it's such a gorgeous song. I really
Yeah.
feel it.
It is such an underrated song as well. Everyone seems to forget it.
Right. It's so special. It's
Mm.
like just so good. I driving with the windows down, singing it. I've got it on CD, and I sometimes do that with my friends. I'm like, guys, the moment. Yeah.
See, I love my
Yeah.
CDs. I love my CD.
Yeah. Yes, me too. I've just got a new CD player for we're moving house and I'm gonna pick up my friend's CD player. I'm very excited. So I can play them in the house as well as the car.
Um, so to go on to your brand and your music and you more specifically, your latest single, kind of fucked. Gonna
Yes.
have to put an explicit rating on this podcast.
Yes, sorry. The amount of logistical troubles that has caused us, the fact that it has swear words, but it's fine.
That's fine. It's fine. I'll just put an explicit thing on it. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry,
Um,
guys.
is deeply emotional and vulnerable. Yeah. Can you share what
Yeah.
inspired the song and how it felt to revisit those experiences during the process of writing it?
Yeah, so it's all a lot. Um, I wrote it like all in one sitting.
Mm,
Just like I posted a video recently from like the day I wrote it, and it was just like I was sitting there in this patch of sunlight I got in my bed, just like sort of suddenly assessing this. I'd been in this like 2 year long situationship thing, and it was
yeah.
kind of this was the first moment where I was like, oh, this is really toxic. And it was sort of like the moment it all kind of hit home, I was like, this is not a good thing that I'm in. Um,
Mm,
Realizing how hurtful it was being for both of us. It was a time. And it was, there were stages to this unraveling. So this was like
yeah.
step one of the like, oh shit, this is
Mm,
look like sort of just like seeing it for what it was.
yeah.
Um, it's everything that was left unsaid, everything I didn't say in person to this person. Um, and yeah, it was very intense. I remember like, yeah, when I was recording that video afterwards, I was sort of like shaky. I think I'd been like crying while I was writing it probably.
Mm,
And just I remember just feeling sort of overwhelmed by like the emotional intensity of facing what I'd kind of known but not put into words. So just seeing it in front of me was like, oh. um, and then
yeah.
there were more chapters which are to come. But
Mm,
yeah, the process of recording it was pretty fresh. I did the vocals like a good couple weeks after, I think, and it was all very
mm,
relevant in my life. I was in my breakup era. Um, so
yeah.
I feel like I put a lot of that emotion into the songs and the production of it. Just sort of like I wanted it to be simple and raw and just like you should feel all of that emotional intensity packaged into a song, to a few minutes.
Yeah. It is always very rough writing about something
Mm,
very personal to you because you want
yeah,
to be able to get the music out there so people can listen to it but and also take it on board themselves, but
yeah,
you need to make sure that it sounds good.
yeah, yeah. Something I've learned a lot from like writing with other people is like
Mm,
often the more specifics that you can put into a song, weirdly, the more someone can relate to it
yeah.
because they apply their own life to those specifics.
Mm,
Um, and I found that really interesting because I do that myself. Like some songs, like yeah, they'll tell a really specific story, and it's not my story, but I can see myself in that story. So that was what I really wanted this song to be for people. Like
yeah.
that song that you can listen to at 1 a.m. when you're crying about a breakup and be like, oh, this makes me feel understood, or like just something that holds you in that space, like
Yeah.
to not shy away from that sadness and let yourself sort of feel the conflict and the sadness and all
Yeah.
of the layers. Mm.
Yeah. I do think that it's something which a lot of people don't who don't write music kind of understand
Mm.
and who
Mm.
don't sing their music is something that they won't fully understand. They may appreciate it, but they probably won't fully understand how difficult it
Mm,
is for an artist, like you've done with this song, to get your emotions kind of not under control, but controlled enough so that you can deliver this in a way which shows your emotions, but also fits the style.
mm. Yeah, it's logistically quite hard. It's
Yeah.
sometimes it's sort of like, how do I, without it being like too much emotion, but not that
Mm.
it repels people, but enough that it welcomes them in, and it but enough that it's on and like honest. I think the honesty is really important to me in my music. I
Yeah.
always want it to feel real.
Yeah. Just gonna close this
Mm.
because a truck is now coming down this road.
Oh, no worries.
Uh,
Bye, truck.
um, so, uh, you did a collaboration with Josh O. But help me out before
Burn,
Burn.
burn. I think it is.
uh, on saxophone, which I love the saxophone. It's my favorite instrument.
Yes. Yeah.
Uh, it added a rich layer to the song. How did that collaboration come about?
The song was almost, it was pretty much finished, and I saw him playing in another band. I was part of this program called the Cube Effect, and he played as one of the bands in that program. What did Dublin
No,
talk about that too?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. W and I were in it together. It was lots of fun. It was great. It's where I like met my manager and everything. Like I am
Yeah,
so grateful to have been part of it.
yeah.
Made
It's
so
just
many,
so
and my
it's just
guitarist
so
I met through
funny
the Cube
how
Effect.
how many layers there are to
Yeah,
all of your
it's the smallest world. Yeah, it's truly like no, when I think about it, I'm so glad I did the Cube Effect because like a lot of yeah, important people in my life now I wouldn't have or maybe I would have known, but probably might not be working with them if it weren't for that.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, so oh, what was I saying? Oh yeah, he was in one of these bands, and I really love the 1975, and he was playing saxophone. I was like, oh, this is like stabbing me in the heart and soul, like exactly the way like the
yeah.
saxophone in 1975 songs, like About You by the 1975. It's just like that. Oh, and I went out afterwards. I was like, please, can I have your contact? Do you do session work? Like, would you be keen? Um, yeah, and he did it. He was going to Europe, I think. He was like literally I'm super glad he did it. He was like, "Oh, sorry, I'm like leaving in a day, but yeah, I'll get something for you." I was like, "Thank you." Um, but yeah, I love it. I feel like it added a lot. Just I'm really inspired by this artist called Hayden Everett in he's over in America, question mark, Canada, somewhere over there, I think. Um anyway, he uses a lot of that like really ambient sort of
Yeah.
spacious saxophone kind of stuff, and it just like makes you go like, "Oh." And yeah, so I'm really, really glad we got saxophone on the song.
So I don't know whether how many session musicians you worked with like instrumentalists and stuff. I can't remember which. I said it on an episode this series and last series as well, but I honestly think there's nothing better than working with session musicians because they come
Mm,
in, they may not have even heard the song and they come in and just immediately crush it.
yeah, 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 yeah. They know, they know how to feel it out. I
Mm,
think as well, it's like anything ever. It's just like working with a team that understands the project or understands the feeling of the song. Or like I work alongside Brian Butcher. Is he produces my tracks and he's great. Like I love our little we have a little co-production-y team. So like I'll have a
yeah,
lot of like concept that I want to capture but he knows how to put it into the actual computer bleep bloops. And then like I'll be like, oh, let's like move it around timing wise. And um yeah, it makes such a difference, like being in a collaborative team that feels good and
yeah,
and you can bounce off each other,
yeah.
that kind of thing.
Because as a little tangent, so
Hmm.
the ending music that you'll hear, the little guitar solo at the end of
Yeah.
every single melody of music introduces, that's
Hmm.
actually the guitar solo from one of my tracks for Jimmy Theo called Art Nerd, and it was done
Hmm.
by this amazing Argentinian guitarist
Ah.
who literally just like I sent him the track. I'm like, I don't know what I want for a guitar solo. You just have fun.
Uh-huh,
And he
uh-huh.
recorded that, and it just sounds amazing. So now it's at
Yeah,
the end of every melody of music podcast.
I love that so much. Yeah, I love because very much like how I address things is like through emotion or like through
Mm.
the feeling or concept. So I'll like have the concept and I'll be chatting to the session musician. I'm like, this is how I want it to feel. And like people that just really read instruments like that, it's
Yeah.
awesome. And then they'll get that feeling. I'm like, yes, we've got it. Or you'll do a few takes. I'm like, ah, that bit, and I love it. I love the just the feeling of being in the studio and
Yeah.
finding what feels right.
Yeah, 100%. And
Mm.
your lyrics, we mentioned, or you mentioned that they're very specific at points to
Hmm.
you.
Hmm.
So what do some of the, like, do you have any lyrics that come to mind off the top of your head that you've written that were
Ooh,
very impactful to you, that helped you sort of progress as an artist?
that is a big question. I have to like review my songs in my brain. Um, Progress as an artist, like like as in develop my style or just like develop my understanding of a moment kind of thing.
Just anything which you feel has helped you move past like that point, like when you've written it
Mm-hmm.
and then you've been able to then move on and write something else.
Probably like anytime I write a song, it's sort of therapeutic like that. It's like by the end of the song, I'm like, ah, that's what I'm feeling, Normally it's like by the bridge, I kind of lock it in. Like at the beginning, I'm like, what am I feeling? And then at the end, I'm like, ah, that's, and then this is how to go about it. I found probably Kind of Fucked was the most therapeutic in that sense. And like the bridge felt like, yeah, it was very cathartic to write. I was like, there it all is. I was like, oh, there's the stuff that's been swirling around inside of me for the last 2 years in chaotic situationship, long distance land.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Or yeah, Ajar as well, the next one that's coming, I really liked. The concept felt like the hook is like, I mean, I'll talk about that more when it comes out, but like the hook is like talking about a jar, like a door that's ajar, and it felt like how we were at the time. We kept not walking away.
Yeah.
Um, yes, more to come in that department. Um, but that concept really helped me to sort of make sense of what the state of limbo we were in were.
Yeah. So,
So yeah.
oh no, go on.
No, I was just gonna say. So I feel like ironically, it's like it's less that I feel like any specific lyric makes me progress even artistically as much as almost more that like like human wise, it helps me to understand life, which I suppose then just goes into the project because it explains the story. So that is my roundabout answer.
So, in terms of your lyrics and your writing and
Mhm.
going down this path, you mentioned before we started recording about being Scottish
Yes,
and
I am.
about also being now and being Australian. There's the two.
Yes, yes, yes.
Um, so how would you feel the the mixture of the both play an influence on your music? Is there any
Oh,
parts which you're just like, oh,
mm,
this makes me feel of Australia, this makes me feel of Scotland. This is a mixture of both.
yeah, I like that. Massively Scotland, massively Scotland. I think I'm like super duper duper inspired by like Celtic artists. Like I grew up listening to Enya and Lorena McKennitt. I don't even know if they're specifically Scottish, but like Celtic coded. I think Enya's maybe Irish, but you know, Celtic Gallic-y kind of energy. Lorena McKennitt, possibly also Irish, but also Celtic music, like just like traditional Scottish music. So like any like music with violins or like mandolin. I was raised on that, and it just like there's something in my little soul that like when I hear like a fiddle melody, I'm like, oh, my cells are alive. Um,
Are
so
you
I think
sure?
that
Are you sure you're
yeah.
not partially Irish?
No, not quite. Hey, similar energy. But Scotland definitely. Um. uh, anyway, the Celtic essence, I suppose. Like strings. I love putting strings in my songs.
Okay.
Violin. I've got a cellist in my band. Um. And yeah. Also, even like the kind of like lilting melody things. I don't know. They've got like a it's hard to describe in words, but that little t energy, I feel like I try and get into either my melodies in my vocals, or sometimes like I love a repeated little riff, like a little melodic sound, sparkle sounds, sparkly. Sorry, I can see you laughing. You I'm explaining the concept here.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, and Australian, I feel like the sense of community,
Mm,
because I was raised in such a
yeah.
sense of community, so I really love like when people sing together. I try and put gang vocals often in my pieces because I love that energy of togetherness. That sort of reflects my
Yeah.
upbringing in northern New South Wales, Australia. So yeah, I feel like there's definitely a mush of them both.
Okay.
People have said
Okay.
apparently I sing kind of Celtic too. I'm not really, that's not conscious, but I was like, great, like, lovely.
Any attempts to put some bagpipes in your songs?
Honestly, I've thought about it. It is not off the cards. It's solidly like a lot of artists actually do. I was looking into production of stuff like just like a drone of a bagpipe. It's a really good layer. So there you go.
Okay.
In fact, the next song maybe even has it droned in, mixed in. I'm not sure. I could be getting. I think I've played with that. I don't remember whether I locked it in, but I have. I've. It's not off the cards.
Okay, so everyone listen out for a bagpipe in one of
Yeah, stay
Jess's.
tuned. I'm gonna have to go back and look at the session and see if it has actually got it. Could be a
Okay,
synth.
let's move away from instruments for a minute.
Okay.
Um, so you've had really good responses with people listening to your music, with Human, with
Mhm.
Distance, and now with Kind of Fucked. Again with this explicit rating.
Sorry, guys.
So on top of that, those bits of work that you've done, building on that with the upcoming songs that you've got in 2025, how do you
Mhm.
feel like you've evolved? Do you feel like there's a progression
Ooh,
of I've started here, I've attended all these other networking things, spoken with other artists, worked with other
mm.
people, so now I'm here? Or do you feel
That's a
like
nice
it
question.
you feel like you've still got to get a little bit further up that you need to
There's,
progress a bit?
I think life always and ever is always just a journey, and I think
Mm,
it's not destination based, specifically in the arts. It's not like you're sort
yeah,
of. I mean, look, I'm sure there are like made it moments, but I
yeah,
feel it's like an ever evolving, just as a human being and as an artist sort of
yeah,
thing. But I definitely feel like it's nice. It was even just like I was thinking the other day, like looking back on my sort of year recap. It's nice to sort of acknowledge the things that you have done and the ways that you have grown. Like I would definitely say I feel like I've grown like any human would over a period of time when they're working at a thing. uh, but yeah, like last year, I mean, I really solidified my band setup. Like I'd been playing with sort of a few guitarists, but then I sort of like I've got like Harris who's sort of like in the band. Like it's still Serendipity is me, but
yeah,
like I've got a band that's sort of locked in now. Um, and that's felt really good and really solidified. Um, and starting working with a manager has been really nice. That was yeah, Phoebe Faye reached out from the Cube Effect, and I mean, and it's so nice to sort of have a
yeah,
team for the project now. It's not, I don't feel like alone and overwhelmed with it, like sometimes can happen.
yeah,
Um, so now it's sort of like we get to sort of bounce ideas off it together, and it's like a creative shared project. But like it's still my project, but we get to
yeah.
share the direction and the just it just makes it feel so much more fun. And I played some really special gigs last year as well that were really cool. Like we opened for Infinity Song, which was really cool because I love their music, and Altar Boy, I love them as well. Um, so yeah, it's nice to sort of look back and recognize and be like, hey, I am doing things that
Mm.
I'm proud of, like, and that feel like steps in the direction that feels good. And I'm excited to keep growing and evolving in that direction.
Oh,
And the
nice.
launch show actually. Just
Yeah,
adding that on at the end. The distance launch show was really special. Um,
nice. And of course, thanks to Phoebe for
yeah.
helping set this interview up.
Shout out for you.
Um, so how do you feel like Phoebe, because as you mentioned, independent artists, they have to do everything themselves and it's so draining.
hmm hmm
Um, how useful has Phoebe been for you? And also, what do you feel like she's done to kind of ease the pressure off you to then
Mm.
let you be creative still?
It's so nice. Yeah, it's like I have had time to create again. It's I think she's really good at email sending and logistical organization,
Yeah,
which is so great. So I'm a big concepts ideas
yeah,
person, but sometimes I'm like, how do I make a digestible spreadsheet of that? Um, whereas Phoebe's really good at like spreadsheets and timelines and emails and all the sort of bits and bobsy things. And she's helped with a lot of gig booking. She's also a gig booker.
Mhm.
Herself. So it's been really lovely because she's got a lot of strength in that, and that's something I used to find quite overwhelming. And even just like pitching, like yeah,
Yeah,
PR stuff like that. Um, yeah, it's been really great. And as well, she's a creative director and a photographer. So like, so coming up, it's so much fun. Like developing the songs just from because I'll like develop the song world and then I bring it to Phoebe and we're like, what can we make this? How can we make this visual and like bring it to life and make music
that's
videos and stuff. So
perfect.
that's been yeah, it's been really good.
Yeah.
I feel like our creative strengths like complement each other. It's really nice.
Oh, nice. And
Yeah.
it must be nice having someone who is a creative person be your manager
Mm.
instead of someone who's like very, very direct and very, very um this is the timeline, this must happen. This is having
She's super flexible.
someone, yeah, that must be really
Yeah.
nice and really helpful as a creative person.
It's really nice. And I definitely like sometimes I've been like, you know, when life is lifing, we've been like, okay, let's adjust the timeline, it's not like it's nice to realize that, to step back and be like, actually we can, adjust this as life does its thing, you know?
Yeah. So
Mm.
again, before we move on to the next question, thank you again, Phoebe, for helping set this
Thank
up.
you for your
Um, So, having done all those performances in 2024, which you mentioned there was quite a few, um, and supported other artists as well throughout that time, like Altar Boy. Um, how have these live experiences shaped your perspective of even performing and also writing for the live performances?
Ooh, that's a nice question. How have live experiences shaped? Playing with a band feels so good. It really elevates. It's
Mm,
made me sort of more excited to sort of elevate. I mean, stage presence has always been really
yeah.
important to me, like the energy with which you stand on the stage. I'm really inspired by an artist called Aurora. She's got this like incredible stage presence.
Okay.
And the way um the way she sort of like yeah just like connects with people even across like big spaces has always really inspired me. I've always wanted to really connect with people, and performing with a band and doing these shows and sort of locking in my band thing is almost like I feel like it's helped me to feel like I can be bigger on the stage, which is really nice,
Yeah.
spaciously, energetically wise. And I'm excited to sort of try new things as well. We're looking at fun, possibly playing like trying out playing with tracks and seeing how that feels, and doing some more songs, like because I've got the band now I don't have to always have the guitar,
Yeah.
so I can like looking into moving around more, and just like it gives you more freedom to explore the stage and explore that connection with the crowd. Yeah, and I think definitely always that connection is like my number one thing, like you know, being able to like when you sing a song and people like one of your songs and people sing it back with you, it's like the most special thing ever. So
Yeah.
like yeah, really honoring that, or like making eye contact as you perform and just making people feel really part of something. I think yeah, inspires me lots. I'm keen to do more of that.
Nice. So
Yeah.
your upcoming EP project that you've got,
Yes. I can't tell
um,
too many secrets about it
oh,
yet, but yes.
okay. Well, why don't you share what you feel comfortable sharing? In which case, then no one gets in any trouble.
Okay. um, well, there's body of work en route. And I've shared chapter 1 and chapter 2, and the story is not yet finished. So
Okay.
so I'm excited to share what else happens in the chapters and in the stories. There's a new, yeah, one of my favorite ones is coming out next, and I'm really excited for it. It's, yeah, the one I was talking about a jar. But I will tell you more about that soon. This is he's trying
Okay.
to be mysterious. Maybe I'll be like, don't give too many of our plans away. But there's a lot of exciting things in the way. It's yeah, we've got some ideas for making it
Yeah.
a body of work and maybe a body of work and beyond. So potentially some fun little extra things and some fun specifically around Brizzy. We've got some like really nice little community ideas for things in
Nice.
the works for celebrating
Yeah, it's
it.
funny because we had an artist, Izzy MacArthur, in series
Mhm.
one, and she was saying that, oh, I can't give away the like release date. I can't say anything like I can't say which month it is even. I can't say anything about it because there's
Yeah,
like two people that follow her specifically that she knows. Well, she doesn't know them, but she knows of them through her Instagram, who like have been able to guess each time the
that's
exact release
crazy.
date of her songs because she gives away
That's
these little things just
the
randomly
little Easter
every
eggs.
yeah, and
That's so
they've just connected.
fun. That's so fun. I feel like mine have been a bit more vague than that, but something en route soon. Stay tuned. It's in the works. Things
Okay.
are very much in the works. Phoebe and I we have brainstorming. No, not even brainstorming. We have you know what's the phrase when things in the works, I suppose is the
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
on
Going
on a
through
roll.
going through the
In the
flow.
through the flow is going.
Yeah, the flow is
And
going. Okay.
stay tuned to catch some flow and some fun little updates.
Oh, okay. So two things before we move on to your music. Um,
Hmm.
as a reminder to everyone else, so this is a little tangent for melody and music.
Hmm.
We have our 2024 edition of Melody
Woohoo!
Music Presents. Jess is featured in here along
Oh,
with the
my
what
friends.
is it? A song review of Distance.
Oh, aw, thanks.
And Jess will be featured in the 2025 one with this interview and possibly more
You
song reviews in that one. Um,
potentially.
well, assuming that you have songs released in
Assuming there's a
2025.
very mysterious body of work probably en route.
Um, but yeah, you can see at the back, assuming that you can see on the camera, Serendipity is there.
Yay! Oh, that's
Um,
so lovely.
so, um, moving away from that, so there is copies available. If you're in, I mean, anywhere in the world, I can ship a physical copy, copy to you. And you can buy that on the Melody Music website, or you can get a digital copy on the Melody Music website as well. Yeah. So back
Get the melody
to
music.
back to jazz. Um, so before we move on to your music, Jazz, what advice would you give to new artists who are just starting out, as someone who is still going through the musical journey but have been doing music for a little bit now? What
Mhm.
advice would you give?
Hmm. What would I have wanted to know? That community is like everything. I think that just go to things and talk to people and do not be afraid to ask because you'll have connections with like sometimes someone that you might talk to at the very beginning of your career might be just about to launch into a really awesome stage of career and then you've got their 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 connection, their friendship. And also like yeah, it's like so often people are keen to collaborate. Like I remember someone said that to me at the beginning and it was really helpful with me that is that a grammar? Helpful with me, helpful to me. It was helpful. Um, yeah, I remember them saying it was egoism, I think. I was chatting to
Yeah.
the folks from egoism and I was just chatting to them after a gig and they were like, literally never be afraid to just reach out and be like, hey, do you want to write? Because like most of the time people will be like, yeah, sure. And then you just get to make more friends in music, which is lovely, and learn more from each other. And I think that energy of not being afraid to ask really can help fostering friendships and connections, which can help you to learn and progress and so forth, so forth. So yeah, just asking to reach out and stay in touch with people, I think is really magic. Also, music people are just so lovely.
This is
I
true.
feel like I'm biased because my friends are mostly music people, but I love them. Like,
No,
yeah,
no, it is
community.
true. One of my closest friends, on a tangent about asking for help.
Hmm.
One of my
Yeah.
closest friends, Matt Clark, who did episode one of series one, was kind enough to
Nice.
get us through the gates and start us off. Um, one of the songs that he helped me out with, you can hear more about it on that podcast. I won't go into detail,
Mm.
but difficult time for me. I couldn't sing on the song. He very graciously, even though he had absolutely no time in the entire year to do it, jumped on the song and sung on it, which was incredible of him to do.
Mm.
Um,
Mhm.
but it is that thing. People within music are very lovely people, very caring people,
Mhm.
and will always be willing to help as long as you ask. If you don't
Yeah,
ask,
yeah,
then
just
they
reach
never
out.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I think a lot of my really close friendships have happened because we've just been like, "Hey, do you want to write?" And then we write, and then it's like, and then when you write together, you're just like often instantly friends because you like process some shared trauma or emotion together. It's great, you know.
Yeah, what traumas have you been through? Oh, great, me
Uh-huh.
too.
Wow, yeah, wow, we have so much in common. No, it's really nice.
Yeah,
I love music people.
yeah. Well, let's dive into your music. So
Okay.
we got three songs.
Hmm.
We're gonna start with Human. So we'll have a listen to Human, which released August 2023.
I'm so glad you know the date because I had, yes, that is right.
I checked on
Like,
Spotify beforehand. Don't worry.
well done, well done, well done.
I've got all the months. I've got the months for the three songs in the year.
Love
So
it. I'm
they're
excited
fine.
to please remind me. I'm like, I know the year, but vaguely which half of the year.
Okay, we'll have a listen to Human first, and then I'll tell you the date, the months for the other.
All right.
I've been losing myself to the thoughts on my mind for so long. And I thought I was fine, but it seems I might have been wrong. So I'm gonna step back, take a look at myself, write a song. And I'm hoping that I'll figure out what's going on. 'Cause I've been feeling down and then feeling up again, lost and then found. Don't know where I'm at, but that's human. Yeah, I'm only human. And when night comes around, I question myself again, 'cause sometimes I frown, but sometimes I laugh, and that's human. Yeah, I'm only human. And sometimes I cry when I'm sad, and sometimes when I'm not. And sometimes I feel just inescapably lost. And the seasons of life, they ebb and they flow, never stop. So at least when we die, we'll know we've lived a life. 'Cause I've been feeling down and then feeling up again, lost and then found. Don't know where I'm at, but that's human. Yeah, I'm only human. And when life comes around, I question myself again, 'cause sometimes I frown, but sometimes I laugh, and that's human. Yeah, I'm only human.
There you go. So that was Human. Um, yeah.
Oh,
How you feeling, Jess?
it's funny because like I don't know if I don't listen to my own songs once, like so it's kind of nice to sit down and be like, huh, that's right, instead of like I was sitting listening, think like remembering recording it and like the process and the yeah, it was kind of nice to listen back and be like, oh, that's right, that was
Mm,
that time in life. Yeah, it's it's nice because I feel like I've like grown quite a lot since that um time in my life and that sort of recording of that song. But it's still like yeah, I like that bit at the end when everyone sings along because that's that it feels like it captures that community thing that means so much to
yeah.
me. It was so fun. We were all just like singing in a room. Dublin was there, I think. She played something on the song. Um, yeah, just all around the camera, not the camera. What's the word? Microphone. Um, and it just yeah, it was really nice sort of
Yeah.
connection-y moment. So it was nice to remember that listening back.
Yeah, because I'm just looking at some of the lyrics, and of course it's not you've got this sort of lyrics and the energy behind it that like it's clearly a hard time for you, but you want to see the positives. You want to try and
Mm,
move forward, which is not an easy thing to do when you're writing,
mm,
because you
mm,
either want to feel the emotions and go down that rabbit hole, or you want to show the other side, and you just want to be up there and be positive. It's
mm,
very hard to do a mix, and you've
mm.
managed to do it so well where you also are conveying your emotions behind it.
Oh, thanks. I yeah, I try and um hope is really important to me, I think, just
Yeah,
conceptually. So I always try and even if a song sort of starts out sad, I try to have at least something, some sort of silver lining somewhere.
yeah,
Um yeah, yeah. And that song actually I wrote over a couple different periods of time.
yeah.
So the chorus was from a different time to the verses, but then I sort of I think it was initially in a different time signature, but then I stitched them together. I was like, ah, this makes sense. It was from years ago. It was from yeah, like literally being a child. I think I wrote that song when I was in
Mm.
high school. Hmm.
Yeah, but you never know. You always revisit music later on, and you find things
Yeah,
that work well.
yeah, it's nice. It's nice. I like going back to things. I think you sometimes things need a moment to kind of uh simmer or like brew. I think
Mhm.
sometimes you'll come start something, you're like, that's gonna be something, but it's not ready to be finished right now. And I think human was one of those things. So
Yeah,
I'm glad I came back to it. It you know it's special because it's the first song I released, and it's like oh it was a
yeah. And
little
and
yeah
you
yeah
managed to have that community as well, which is yeah.
it felt yeah I'm grateful for that energy in the song. That was what I really it was really inspired by Blood by the Middle East. It's a
Okay.
beautiful song. You should listen to it if you haven't. It's yeah just got that essence of that togetherness, that hope
Yeah.
even when it's hard.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
the next song, which
Yes.
we're gonna listen to, I'm very excited about because
Aw.
this is my introduction to Serendipity,
Yay.
and yeah, it's what made me really enjoy the journey of Serendipity when I first got into it.
Oh.
So yeah, let's have a listen to my personal favorite, which is Distance.
Yay. Thanks. I'm glad you like it.
Haven't felt like this for a while. At the thought of the name, wanted to smile. Typical of me all the time. To want something I cannot have, 'cause you cannot be mine. So I'll hold my own hand I'll pretend that it's yours and you're holding me tight, just like you did before. And I'll stroke my own head. It'll be like you're there, not a cavity left in the space of my chest. So I'm trying hard to lie to myself that it's not specifically you, but it's nobody else. Interstate but still intertwined. It's a dangerous game, how we're walking this line. So I'll close my own eyes, 'cause as hard as I try, I can't help wishing yours were looking into mine. And I'll smile at the phone, 'cause although I'm alone, I can't seem to stop wishing you were my own. Let's risk it, would you go the distance? At least just say you'll try, 'cause I miss this and I can't resist it, and I don't wanna have to say goodbye. So I'll keep on writing this song, because it feels like as long as I've got it, I've got you. And at first I thought the verses were wrong, but I think they belong the same old way that we do. So maybe I'm an idealist and you are just a realist with no desire to be mediocre. And I guess the logistics don't leave me optimistic, but neither of us want to say it's over. And every room I'm in, I wish that you're here too. And I haven't really wanted someone until I met you. And honestly, that scares me so much, because it's true that vulnerability can really leave you black and blue. So won't pretend I'm not scared shitless. Let's risk it for the biscuit. If you wanna try this, I do too. Let's risk it. Would you go the distance? At least just say you'll try, 'cause I'd miss this and I can't resist it, and I don't wanna have to say goodbye.
There we go. That was Distance. Sorry, I was trying to
Wow.
find the little extract in here, and I forgot to.
Yeah.
So, so a calm folk song on growing distance in a relationship. Serendipity's soft vocals show a desire to fix things without increasing the gap. Was
Oh,
the was a little extract from the beginning of the song review.
I like that.
And in case
Oh,
I
that's
didn't
nice.
mention, oh, sorry, in case I didn't
No,
mention, this song came out June 2024, because I think I
thank you,
forgot
thank you.
that.
Good to know. Good to know. Noting that. Um, that's I like the words you said there. Thank you. It's always really really nice when people connect with a song enough to make some words about it. So thank you for for thinking some words. Um, wow, it's fun. I like this as a format of a thing. It's cool because you don't like. I feel like you never kind of. Oh, I never sit down and listen to my song. So it's interesting to sort of like go like, huh, you know, listening back on it, like remembering how I felt
Yeah.
at that time. I'm like, oh girl, like, like I'm like, oh, I remember that. That it was so intoxicating. It was a really that was chapter one of Kind of
Yeah.
Fucked is the follow up. Um, it was a really intoxicating time. Um,
Yeah,
very
because
high
it's
highs, very low lows.
yeah, because it's funny because I was speaking with Dublin when she was on the interview, and she was saying I can't remember what her first song was that she released that we listened to. Um, oh my God.
Is it There You Go Again? No,
No, that
is that
that was
released?
that was her most recent one.
Yeah, okay.
Hang on, I'm gonna have to search this now because I'm gonna lose my mind if I don't.
Okay.
This night is
Um,
ours. This night
oh
is ours.
yes.
Um, and we were talking about that. I think it was that one. Or it may have been Handshake. was one of the two. But we listen anyway. We are listening to it, and yeah, she was just like, "Oh, I can't even like." She's like, "I wrote it on GarageBand. It was so long ago,
Yeah.
and like I can't believe like we're listening back to it." And
Yeah.
but but I think that's the thing. A lot of artists when they don't often listen back to their music because of course it's them
True.
singing, it's their writing, it's their. It's
Yeah.
just like
It's kind of random. And it's like your work.
okay.
It's like you put all your like everything into it and then you put it out and you're like, right, well I can't do anything more on that. So I mean for me I'm like quite a perfectionist when it comes to my work because it's like, I really care about it and I want it to be everything I want it to be. So it's sometimes when it's out, it's like, oh, I'll overthink it too much if I just gotta be like, it's out. It's also just awkward listening to yourself. I don't know. I'm like, it's
Yeah,
just awkward. Um, but yeah,
yeah,
it's kind of fun. It feels like it's like when you open a journal and look back on a diary entry. That's what it feels like.
yeah.
Um, I'm like, huh, I remember feeling like that. And what's interesting as well is noticing the way it can apply to like that situation is so long ago now.
Mhm.
Um, but but it was, it was very vivid.
Yeah,
But then being able to apply elements of it to your like current life is like interesting. Again, like it's almost like weirdly meta. I don't know if meta is the word. I don't think it is. But like how we were talking about how you put specifics
yeah,
in and other people read their own experience into it. It's like listening to your own song and reading a different experience into it. It's like
yeah.
a strange
I
dynamic, but it's kind of
mean,
cool. I found myself doing that just then.
I don't know if you've listened to some of my previous ones where w- the often the description which I come back with, which a lot of artists agree with,
Mm.
is when you scroll through your camera roll and you look back
Yeah,
through all your cameras, that's how everyone else like sees memories and stuff. But as
yeah,
artists, we just listen back to our old or not always, but when we do,
literally,
because
yeah.
it's often like a while later that we then go back and just went, ah,
Ah, yeah, yeah, literally. Even like with this body of work, like revisiting,
Mm,
finalizing demos, it's like, huh, that's right. That's how I was feeling. Yeah, and it's interesting. It's nice as well to notice the things that you've done in songs that you liked and did again
mhm,
to sort of evolve, like, some of the specific harmonies that I did in that one. I was like, oh yeah, I still do that style of harmony. That was the song where I kind of figured out that I liked. Because like those kind of parallel harmonies, like da 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 da, staying on one note while the melody changes, and it kind of like
yeah,
yeah, something like Holly Humberstone I think does quite a lot, or at least
okay.
it feels Holly Humberstone essence. Anyway, just like those kind of like production decisions. That's getting into the nitty gritty, but like yeah, hearing some of those things, and being like, oh, I still like these are production techniques and things that I still take on. Yeah, I know it's cool. It's
Yeah,
a nice retrospective. Don't know if that's a word. Practice in introspective
yeah. Retros
something. It's
intro-
a nice,
Yeah,
it's a nice thing to do from time to time that you wouldn't do otherwise.
yeah. Well,
Mm.
I'm glad that you enjoy listening back to your music and doing it during an
Not
interview.
always, but right, yeah, right, yeah, 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 yeah. I don't think I ever would. Yes, it's
Well, I appreciate you enjoy it in this format.
yeah, yeah. It's interesting. I'm enjoying analyzing my response to it. Anyway,
Okay.
um,
Would you like to move on to the one which is going to
sure.
have all the explicitity?
Yeah, let's get sad.
Having
There's
said
still a
that,
sprinkling of hope in it, though. There
yeah.
is.
Having said that, I remember the end of Distance, where it says shitless in there. So it's
It
not
does.
Thunderfucked is not the only one.
I know. That's all full of swear words, apparently.
It's fine. You got the mix of Australian and Scottish, so you know
Yeah,
it's gonna
exactly.
happen.
It's
It's gonna
they both swear.
happen.
Um, it's just
Let's
tactful.
yeah. Let's move on. So we
Yes.
can get the last bit where we can get the title out as many times.
Okay,
um,
let's.
so we're gonna listen to Kinda Fucked, which released in October 2024. Yeah. 'Cause- 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 yeah. 'Cause-
It's kind of fucked, but since we broke up, it seems every time that I am touched, I'll miss you so much that I end up crying. It seems that the memory of your touch left a space in my life. Now it's kind of fucked that it's hurting this much, but head up, I'll be fine. 'Cause you told me it was over, but you don't wanna say goodbye. What am I supposed to do with that? Hold me closer, you'll never let me go, is all I wish you would say. I hate that I know you won't. I hate that I know you won't. And it's kind of fucked how the thought that I've lost you keeps me up at night. Had a dream you came back, and it made me so happy that I woke up and cried. 'Cause you told me it was over, but you don't wanna say goodbye. What am I supposed to do with that? Hold me closer, you'll never let me go, is all I wish you would say. And I hate that I know you won't. I hate that I know you won't. And it's kind of fucked how you said we broke up, then you called me that night, saying you'd block me on Facebook, but asking if you should book flights. And then apparently you slept with another that night. Now it's kinda fucked how you hate me for doing the same thing, when after that night we both knew it had changed. And I know that we talked, but we knew it was breaking, and I don't think we could take any more hurting. So hey, if that's what it takes you for us to move on, even though I don't want to, 'cause it's kind of fucked that it took me this long to say it's kind of fucked, but I loved you so much.
Oh, Jess. I wish I could give you a hug after that song.
It's really
Yeah.
interesting. That's the one that I still feel it every time.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's years ago. Like, but it's, yeah, that one, yeah, there's a lot of feelings that went into that.
Oh, yeah. When listening to that, because of course I've never been through that situation.
I'm glad. Keep it that way.
Thankfully.
Um,
But yeah, I can't sort of describe the feeling that I had while listening to that, listening about someone else having gone through that, where like dealing with cheating, dealing with a complete jerk.
no,
Uh,
I don't want to, no hate to him. There was a lot of logistical
yeah,
complication.
okay. I can't talk. I'm talking from
But
I'm talking from when I've heard the song. This is my point of view. Yeah.
yes, okay, yeah,
Everyone else, whoever like this song is about, that Jess wrote from her perspective. Whatever I'm saying is from my own perspective. Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Just so
Because I
that
never want to.
no one hate on anyone else ever.
No,
It's not worth it.
I'd never want to spread any negativity towards. It was,
Hate is not worth it.
because I love so hard that it hurt so much.
Yeah.
You know,
Hate is a
it's
worthless emotion. It's not worth it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Just
yes,
want to put
sorry,
that out
yeah,
there. Just want to put that. But when you listen to that song and you, or even when you hear someone going through a tough time, whether or not it's their
Mm,
fault, whether or not it's someone else's fault, whether or not it's mutual, you're all you can feel is not guilt, but you could all you can feel is just I don't know. You just want to give as much love to the person as possible when that happens.
empathy and trust.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
mm, mm.
So I mean,
Oh.
it's very brave of artists, I feel, when they put out something that hits them so hard because you
Yes, I
you're the
can't
one
think
that
about it
then
too hard.
that's fine. I'm trying to do as much talking as possible.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But when you go out and perform it, how how do you keep yourself together? Because of course, with songs that hit you so hard,
Mm,
personally, and make you feel a little bit emotional because of the time may have been a little bit hard for you.
mm.
How would that how does that affect you on stage?
On stage, I feel like it helps me to be even more present. If I'm really feeling connected to a
Mm,
song. I think with that song particularly, it's the production of it. It's like that particular version of it
yeah.
that feels so like evocative. Because you know like
Mm,
when there's a specific song that you listen to in a particular time of your life. It was like
yeah.
when I was in my like breakup era. I always sort of say it's like I was the 1 a.m. shower candlelit scenario. There's like a very
Mm,
specific playlist. I had a very specific vision for it, for that song. And I'd listen to that playlist all the time and I wanted kind of fuck to have that same energy. And like yeah, so when I listen back to it, it just reminds me of being in the studio when all of those feelings like I feel like it's that particular version of the song and those all those little like that even the mix I was like really specific
yeah.
with. I was like we got to keep the same mix. I was like because it's got all the emotion in it and like it's got
Yeah.
from a more production it's like it's really quite low end heavy and that
Mm,
was like I feel like it really gets you in the chest and like
yeah.
yeah, so all of that was really important in the way I wanted to keep the song. I wanted to keep that vulnerability really fresh through it.
Mm,
And I think it fit yeah, I'm that's probably the one I'm most proud of that I've released because um it's so exactly how I wanted it to be.
yeah.
Like,
Because you
yeah,
know
emotionally and production
the
wise.
song that it reminded me of when I was listening to it as well is
Mm.
Driver's License.
Oh, really?
I
That
kind of heard a
damn,
little
thank
bit.
you.
um,
That's a cool song.
the instrumentation behind it, the production behind it, even the
Mm.
vocal style, it did just it had that sort of feeling and tone behind it.
Mm.
Was that perhaps one of the songs which you were listening to at the time, or just no,
No, not
happen
at all.
chance?
But cool song. I do like that song. I think it's a really flippin' good song.
Mm,
Um, a lot of the songs were I posted the playlist of it on Instagram. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. There was Chris
mm,
Lanzin, You Will Find It, this beautiful song. And Hayden Everett, again, like I was talking
yeah.
earlier. There's Matilda, I can't remember her last name. Matilda something. I think she's possibly from London. Oh, I can't remember her last name. Um, Actually, I don't know if she's from London. I think I'm just assuming that because um, I know there's a Matilda artist from somewhere from London. Anyway, but yeah,
It's
it's
fine.
got
You
Jem
thought
Cassie
Ireland
Daly in it.
and it's fine. You thought Ireland and Scotland were the same.
Yeah, no, let it be known. I know they're different. Celtic. There's an essence. There's an ambience. Um, but yeah, that very
Yeah,
specific energy of the songs that I really wanted to
yeah.
keep throughout. And I yeah, it's a special wee one. And I like that it's like a wee bit like it I feel like it's like extra acoustic, but it's also like randomly more pop than the others. I don't know
Mm,
how to slightly. I don't know whether
yeah,
that's just my own
yeah. I did hear
yeah,
that.
yeah. And I quite like that. I've got in a few of my other upcoming songs, there's like slightly sprinklings more pop, which is kind of fun. Um, yeah,
Nice.
I like that fun little folk pop overlap.
Well, in general, with this, with your music, especially the three songs which you listen to, and I'm looking forward to all the other 2025 releases. Hopefully, there's a
Yay.
couple of them
Yes,
spread
there's
across.
definitely more than one in the works. Can confirm.
Yes. Looking forward to some more Serendipity works.
Yay.
Um, and yeah, so what? before we sort of look towards the end of this introduces episode, um, what have you taken from all of your music now listening back to it that you've heard and you're just like, I completely forgot. I completely forgot I did that, or I completely forgot about this moment. Is there anything which you picked up that you remember?
That's a really nice question. I like that. I forgot about that fun violin riff in the bridge of Distance. I forgot that I that I was like, oh yeah, that's a fun bit. I forgot about that. I forgot because I really like that second half of Distance.
Mm.
Um, that build up energy. And it was nice to remind myself as well, yeah, like I was saying, of those particular. I mean, I kind of do them anyway without sometimes just because it's like you
Yeah,
get used to that particular style of harmony or whatever. But it was nice to sort of listen to the harmony styles and think like listen back and sort of it's like the same way you have reference playlists for your stuff regardless. It was nice to kind of listen to my songs in terms of reference playlist thing and being like, oh, I'm keen to get back in the studio and do some more fun little riffs like that violin one and do some more of that specific
yeah,
harmony style. I was thinking as well, I really liked the vocals on Kind of Fucked. I liked the production on them. Um like it was nice to notice the evolution of that from like human to Kind of Fucked.
yeah,
Like yeah, and just sort
yeah.
of emulating those things in future works. Yeah, I think
Nice,
I suppose. Yeah, it definitely made me think about production choices. Um,
nice. So yeah, I'm trying to think what is. Yes, so it's now the end of series two, episode three with Serendipity.
oh,
Before we
mhm.
end, Jess, where can people
Yes.
find you on social media?
Yes, you can find me under Serendipity Music with an I on the end, not a Y. So honestly, that should be my whole name. Serendipity with an I, not a Y. But if you add music on the end, so Serendipity Music on Instagram and Facebook and Spotify and TikTok and all of the places. Am I allowed to say the platforms? Is that doesn't
No, that should be
that's
fine.
fine. Yeah.
That's
Some
fine.
like sometimes on radio you have to say on all streaming platforms. But you can find me on all the streaming platforms and social media. And I'd be really grateful if you'd like to follow along and join for the journey. I'm really, really excited to share more of the chapters of the body of work. And yeah, the evolution of the sort of the folk pop and the build ups. I love a good build up. In all of those songs, I've got some really exciting build ups en route in some of the new body of work.
Nice. So this has been a series two, episode three with Serendipity. As a reminder, we have got Faith K. Roos, also from Brisbane, coming up for episode four, I believe. Don't quote me on this because I've had to
Hey,
make some
hello.
edits. So hopefully I'm correct with saying this. Then episode five with Jess's amazing friend Madison Kate.
With Maddie. I love that so much.
And
Oh,
yeah, this has been amazing. We found out about Jess as a brand, as a musician, as an artist, as a person. And yeah, thank you so much, Jess.
thank you so much for having me. It's been lots of fun. I really enjoyed this. Thank you.
Cool. So
Have a lovely rest of your day.
yeah, and have a lovely evening.
Thank you.
And I shall see everyone in the next episode. See you later.
Bye bye. Thanks for listening.